The night shift at Crow's Peak was never supposed to be more than a test of patience. The lighthouse-like tower stood on a jagged rock miles from the coast, a concrete needle piercing the black skin of the Atlantic. It started at 2 a.m. A rhythmic metallic scratching began vibrating through the floorboards. At first, I thought it was a loose buoy clinging against the foundation, but the sound was climbing. It moved upward along the exterior concrete, 40 meters above the crashing waves. The power flickered once, twice, and then died. The emergency red lights hummed to life, bathing the control room in a bloody, rhythmic pulse. I glanced at the radar. My heart skipped. Dozens of small, blipping signatures were swarming the tower icon, moving in a synchronized, unnatural spiral. Then came the wet thud. Something heavy had landed on the observation deck just outside the reinforced glass. I raised my flashlight, the beam cutting through the salt-crusted pane. I gasped, nearly dropping the light. Pressed against the glass were faces that defied nature, eyeless, translucent orbs of pale flesh, with unhinged jaws revealing rows of needle-like teeth. They didn't have limbs so much as elongated, weeping appendages that gripped the smooth glass like leeches. I heard the heavy steel hatch at the top of the stairs groan. Something was leaning against it. Then came the screech of tearing metal. The hanging ones, as my mind frantically named them, were forcing their way in. The smell hit me before they did. The stench of ancient salt, rotting kelp, and something cold, like a grave opened at the bottom of a trench. The hatch buckled and flew off its hinges. 3 of them poured into the room, their movements twitchy and blur-like. I backed into the corner, my spine pressed against the cold radar console. The largest one, a towering mass of slick, gray muscle, lunged at me. Its cold, wet fingers reached for my throat, and I could feel the frigid breath of the abyss on my skin. I squeezed my eyes shut and screamed, bracing for the teeth. The freezing pressure on my neck vanished. The suffocating stench of the sea was replaced by the smell of ozone and dry air. I opened my eyes. The room was bathed in the warm, yellow glow of the overhead lights. The steel hatch was back on its hinges, pristine and bolted shut. I looked at the glass. No smears, no scratches, just the reflection of a terrified man standing alone. I rushed to the window. The fog had vanished instantly, leaving the sea as flat and dark as a sheet of obsidian. There was no sign of the creatures, no sound of splashing water. It was as if the last 10 minutes had been sliced out of reality. But as I looked down at my hand, I saw a single glowing drop of bioluminescent slime on my sleeve, slowly fading into nothingness.